Hi guys, so we are back with another video, and this time we're not doing any trade abuse or anything as such. We're actually interviewing someone that I've been on the private, on the low key, helping, mentoring, whatever you want to call it. Now, I want to clarify before this video, I do not have any paid mentorship. I do not have anything as such, at least for now. Who knows what time might bring. However, this is just a person that I've been, helping out of the kindness of my heart, say. No, really, because I just enjoy it, right? And I want to see, other people succeed, right? So, became good friends with him. So I decided, let me spend some time and help him. And he's recently achieved his first two payouts, amounting to $1,000. And I thought, let's make an interview and talk about how he, in his very own words, believes that, I've helped him trade. So, yeah, enjoy. All right, here we are with, the student Harry. So, first of all, go about and tell us a bit, about yourself as a human being.
Hello guys, I'm Harry. I'm seven. Okay, you already fucking said that, but I'm 17. I'm still in school. I'm from the UK. Started trading 10 months ago. Met Matthew. Thank God I met Matthew about 2 months into my trading journey, and here I am. Now I've got my first payout, my first proper payout. I got it the legitimate way, and not through any gambly shit.
Pretty much, pretty much. Honestly, I wanted to, you can tell people as well, how did you meet me?
So me and Matthew were in. Anyone who has ever been in the self improvement niche, especially back in 2022, will know a guy called Hamza Ahmed. And yeah, me and Matthew
Yep,
met in like a paid community, which honestly I still kind of fuck with, and I fuck with it
true.
even more. Best couple $100 I spent because I fucking met Matthew. So yeah, we met in a
Fair
self
enough.
improvement community online.
I will say, just for a little bit more context, at that time, was I profitable? Yes, I was profitable. Was I making as much money as I am now? No. But the point is, Harry was in the same kind of spot as me. I had, more knowledge than him. I actually had something to show for, my work. And I was like, yo, man, this guy's cool. Let me, help him. So that's kind of how it becomes. So the first real question that we're gonna go into is, how did your trades look, before you met me? What did you trade? How did you trade? And overall, I guess, how did it go for you?
All right. So prior to speaking to you, and to be honest, even a bit into speaking to you, I still didn't fully trust your way of doing
I
it.
remember
So
that.
hang on, let me go to the start. So I started August 2024. Started learning from TGR's boot camp. Now I do think that's a good way to learn the basics. And then once you've learned like what a fair value gap is, what liquidity sweeps are, how to determine a bias, break of structure, how candles work, all the basics, then you can start speaking to people like Matthew and learn the more complicated stuff. But I still think that was a great place to start with the TGR bootcamp. Um, so yeah, I was just trading, like higher time frame liquidity sweeps, lower time frame. It was basically higher time frame continuation, lower time frame reversals, and that is still kind of like what I do now, but it's a little bit different to how TGR teaches it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, when I met you, is I still didn't fully trust your way of like thinking because you hadn't had like solid proof at that point. But like, I guess the main factor for that was because ICT is like got such a not
Yeah.
such a bad reputation, but the stuff I'd seen of that online were pretty bad. But luckily, talking to Matthew, I didn't have to go down the ICT rabbit hole.
Yeah.
He had already gone down the rabbit hole for me. And,
Something like that.
if you guys want to speak to him as well, he's already gone down that rabbit hole of hundreds and potentially thousands of hours of content consumption. And I just got the condensed version and just learned all the important stuff
Yeah.
from what he'd already learned. So,
And
yeah, that's kind
what
of
did you
how.
trade? What did you trade in terms of pairs or whatnot?
Oh, what did I trade?
Yeah.
But yeah, I started. And bro, this is such a UK thing. I started with Forex,
Yep.
and this shit still triggers me to this day. I was on a call with someone. I was like, "What do you trade?" And he was like, Forex." I said, "Why?" He was like, "Oh, my mate got me into Forex. I just
Yeah.
started off with Forex." It's like, bro, and Matthew was the same. He started off with Forex, bro. Everyone starts off with Forex. I don't
If
know what it is.
In Europe, yes, everybody.
In Europe, it's such
Or
a
if
thing
you're
to
Indian
start
as
with
well.
Forex.
Indians love forex. I don't know. Actually, no, they love gold.
I know, bro.
I
It's
don't
like
know.
I
I'm not
know.
sure.
I was trading forex. My favorite pairs, not that they matter because I was mega unprofitable,
Yeah.
was GJ, GBP, JPY,
Yeah.
GBP USD, and Euro USD. So the main three, I think I'd call them.
Yeah.
But yeah, now I trade Nasdaq and the S&P 500
Yeah, I will
futures.
say as well, as you said, like at the start, you didn't really trust it because I remember he actually changed to Nasdaq at the beginning, and I told him, like, I basically told him, bro, stop trading forex, bro, and he stopped trading forex, and then he went back to trading forex, and then I guess he realized, like, wait, he was actually right. Let me go back, and then he started trading Nasdaq again, and now he's stuck with it. Um, Either way, going into the next question now. Now we talked a little bit about your trading in the past, and I want to ask, what way do you think I helped you trading the most? Was it, trading wise, like actual strategy wise? Was it something about psychology, or was it both? I don't know, just whatever comes to mind.
At first, it was small strategy adjustments, but as I've always said, you can learn a strategy in a weekend, so it quickly became not the strategy. I would literally say, guys, this is why having community or having someone better than you and not someone you look up to just online who you have this parasocial relationship
Yeah,
with, but actually having someone to sit in a call with who's better than you at something in any field of life is so valuable. Because, bro, there'd be times where I would take a shit ass trade and I knew it was shit ass, and I would force myself to
yeah,
go in a call with this motherfucker. He'd be sat in a VC, and I knew what was going to happen. I just knew he was going to be so fucking like annoyed. And
yeah.
that shit, like, genuinely, bro, because I'd just be sat there, like, oh, for fuck's sake, I already know this shit. I already know this shit.
Pretty fucking
But
much.
having someone actually get, like, annoyed at you and kind of, like, root for you and get annoyed when you take a loss and be, like, happy for you when you take a win, like, it is motivating. And it's
Yeah,
also, like, when someone puts that many hours into helping you, it's fucking
true.
it keeps you going and it gives you a more of a reason to take
Yeah.
better trades and do the right thing. Like when you have a reason to do it
I
for
was,
it,
I
that
was
makes
gonna say,
sense.
bro, if you know that at the end of the day, you kind of have to go to this like fucking maniac guy that like judges everything you do, you're probably gonna end up, taking fucking a good trade. You know what I mean? You're not just gonna take a stupid trade because you're gonna
And
get flamed for it.
eventually, every single loss I took, it started to become a thing of like every time I'd be like, even sometimes I'd be like, oh, I'm not that annoyed, but you'd be like, this
Yeah,
is a shit trade. And
yeah,
eventually, some recognition happens, and it's like, oh shit. Now I'm
yeah,
starting to realize this is a shit trade. But if you don't have someone there to say it's a shit trade, you might never realize that
yeah,
it's a shit trade. You might genuinely be convincing yourself it's a shit trade. And
yeah,
like, to be honest, from speaking to you, Matthew, I've realized that every trade you lose is a shit trade. Like you might take at the moment, you might take I don't know how many losses a month it is. It's like 1, 2 losses,
I took a loss
and
today. I
each
don't know if you
loss you
actually
take.
I will say I don't know if you read the message, but I did take a loss today. So yeah, it's a little bit tough today. We're in a little bit of a bad move. First
You're in
loss in like
too
a
happy
month,
of a
but
mood
like
for me
it's
to tell,
fine, bro.
bro. I could not.
It's it's fine, bro. I
Wait,
mean,
what did you do? Wait, real quick. What did you do? What did you do?
I honestly don't remember. I probably can show you later. It was like I don't know, like 6 a.m. or something like that. Something like that. But
Oh
either way,
shit, pre.
well, yeah, well, it's not important. First loss in
Yeah,
like
yeah.
3 weeks, it's fine, right? It's fine.
But you will always find a. I'm guessing, right? Here we go. Here we go. This is going to prove my example.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you're not sat there going, you know what? It was a good trade. You've probably found and
No,
identified an issue, right?
I will tell you this, okay? I lost the trade. 5 minutes later, it went to my TP. It was impatience. I took a very, very bad entry today. That's maybe
There we
putting it a
go.
little
There
bit
we
bad
go.
today. But
You're saying it's about trade. You're finding a
yeah,
reason
Yeah,
call it a bad
I
trade.
was
And you were
fully just
one of those people who
impatient
have
today.
helped you, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That goes to show, by the way, a little, cut in the interview from Harry. I don't claim and I am not perfect. I've never said that. You know what I mean? I still do mistakes. I just do mistakes way, way, way less often than other people. The fact that I just took a loss today is kind of like unlucky because I'm doing this interview today, so I can't flex it like he's flexing right now. But yeah, all right. Either way, I did take a loss today, but we'll keep it, aside. However, we will go into the next question. Now, this question is kind of pointless to a point because I do know that you didn't blow a lot of accounts because, you couldn't, quite frankly. But I do want to ask how many accounts did you possibly blow? And since I know already that you didn't blow that many, considerable to other people, how long were you stuck on some of these accounts for? Because I know on Forex you kept an account for a pretty
Bro,
long time.
bro, on Forex, I spent 3 months on an account
Yeah,
and then I blew it within like a couple days. And then
nice.
I bought a futures account, blew that in a week because I thought futures was the meta. It is, but I just thought it was the ticket to success. And my psychology over trading was like trades a day, which is obviously bad. And then I bought another Forex account, blew that one in like a week.
Nice.
So there we go, 3 down the drain. And that, was in the span of about the longest eval I had was for 3 months.
Yeah.
And I was saying to someone earlier, why would you spend 3 months on an eval, man? Like,
Yeah.
it took me 3 months to try pass my first eval, and I blew it within a few days, right?
Yeah.
Compared to now, I've got 2 evals. I've traded them for 2 days, and I'm one win away from passing my evals, right?
Yeah.
I can get these things passed in like three trading days compared to 3 whole months.
Yeah.
So definitely, Matthew helped me not, saying like speed up on the fucking evals. There's no point
Yeah.
risking like absolutely fuck all. And if you're like, yeah, but I don't want to blow through them, get a fucking job, bro. Get a job so
He
you can
said
actually
it, bro.
afford
He
these
said it.
evals. Because it is a difference between blowing them because you're scared and blowing them because you're being a retard and like over
Yeah.
risking, over trading, taking shit trades, compared to taking good trades but not risking right because you're
Yeah.
scared to blow it because you don't have the money. There is a
Yeah.
big difference between those two things. If you don't have the money to blow through evals, bro, I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to get a job, bro.
Realistically, you need to understand that trading is a return on investment game. You have to spend money in order to make money. However, I will clarify though that I do still feel like, because I went through it, Harry just said he did. I don't think 3 months holding an eval is, acceptable. But everyone always asks me, what should I expect from my first eval? And I would say if you can keep your first eval for a month and not blow it, as long as you're also, just to clarify, taking like at least 3 trades a week for a whole month. If you can keep your account and not blow it, that should be a pretty good achievement in of itself. However, the second you pass evals, you get a funded, you get your first payout maybe, or you just know how to, you already know what you're looking for, because a lot of people don't know what they're looking for in the trading evals. The second you know what you're looking for and you know it works, that's when you should, start upping the size on evals and be like, all right, bro, let's, pass it quick. Because think about this, right? $50 on Top Step, not a lot. Activation fees does bump it up a little bit, but still, you don't have to pay the activation fees. It's only $50. And as Harry said, if you don't got that money, get a fucking job, gang. Like, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. Either way, unless you have something else to say, Harry, do you feel like...
No.
No. I will go on to the next question, which is, what was that one kind of light bulb moment for you? Because I know you've said you've had one in the past, in the very recent past. So just explain kind of what it was.
Yeah, so the main one for me was 2 weekends ago. I've had many throughout the whole process of trading, and each time you get these moments, you guys watching will know it feels like you get them and you're like, damn, what, this was so easy. Like, how didn't
Yeah.
I figure this out before? But the way you get these light bulb moments, and I'll get into the one I had in a moment, but the way you get these is literally just from being consistent and spending more time.
Yeah.
It's like a random number generator, right? And
Yeah.
you just, or a coin flip, and you keep flipping the coin. Every month you stay another month longer in the market, day in, day out. There's another coin flip. You might get this one, not opportunity, this one realization. Each month you spend longer might be the month you get this one realization, which literally
Yeah.
changes it for you. And I kept saying to Matthew, bro, next month could be the month. Like, it's very possible in 1 month my whole
It
trading
is.
changes. And June was the month my trading has changed the most. The realization I had, it's really specific, like to me. Because I kept taking entries and like barely getting stopped out, and then it would run to my TP, right? And I realized like this is so specific, but I was like, bro, I'm entering off trades when all I need to do is wait for a resweep. And I kept seeing this back testing, and I was like, bro, every time I'm getting stopped out, all it is a resweep. We inverse another gap, and then now we can enter.
Yeah.
It's just about, it was just for me about being more cautious between looking at what the NASDAQ and what ES is doing and making sure if I'm taking shorts, for example, I'm not taking shorts to 930 lows on Nasdaq when ES has already taken the 930 low. Like little things like that. It's so
Yeah.
specific, but it was just little things like that, and that's one little thing. I haven't lost because today was a break even. I haven't lost a trade since one Friday, 2 Fridays ago.
Yeah.
So
Nice, bro. It's
you
amazing.
know,
I will clarify for some people. This kind of concept, I guess, again, it's like kind of deeper in the ICT rabbit hole. I could make a video on this or not, but every single time you want to take a trade, right? You want context. You want some sort of higher time frame context. You want an external, draw. You want external manipulation because every time you want to buy, you want it to go down, right? But it's the same exact thing on a lower time frame. If you have external manipulation into a higher time frame thing, you also want to have internal manipulation to actually, show that the lower time frame is aligning with the higher time frame. Either way, I also want to talk a little bit about more about the kind of light bulb moments. I don't know if you're gonna have more to say about this, but I want to say another person in the Discord, Inf, shout out Inf, bro. He kind of said it really good, and he said like a lot of the light bulb moments is things you'll hear somebody else say. Maybe you'll tell yourself that, but you just don't listen because humans have like 90% of humans have this tendency, like Harry, to be honest. When he first, I told him trade NQ. He traded NQ. He said, no, fuck this guy. I'm gonna go trade, Forex again. And then he was like, okay, you know what? Never mind. I'm gonna trade NQ again, right? It's stuff that people say to you. Maybe, again, you'll say it to yourself. And you don't listen to it until you live through the reason as to why you should do it in the first
you
place.
have to learn the hard way.
Exactly. I don't know why humans 90% of humans have to do it this way. I don't know why. I'm sorry if you're one of them. I am one of them too, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. But if you are one of those 10% that can just listen and avoid these things, good for fucking you. Either way, if you have anything else to say,
I
feel free.
think a lot of what you just said is like people like us have this on or off mentality. It's like
Yeah.
you have to go to like the extremes
Yeah.
to reach the other extremes. So whether that's diet, you're either crashing out on your diet or super
Yeah.
strict. Whether that's, I mean, yeah, diet's the best example. But if you want to relate
I
it
get
to
you.
trading, it's like you're either absolutely crashing out with your trades, and then you have to get to the extreme of that and being like, bro, I either have to quit trading like this or quit trading. Like, you have to get to that
Yeah.
extreme. Because, bro, it was at the point, like, literally the other week, bro. Not even the other week. Like, last
Yeah.
week, bro, I was at my final £4,
Four
So it
pounds in the
gets to a
bank.
point where you're like, bro, I'm going to have to get a job, bro.
Yeah. And I'm not gonna lie, you will see this. This is a common, common reappearance in traders that kind of, have their breakthrough, right? Their first breakthrough. It's always that. They're like they are stuck in between this. I either have to quit trading or, I need to get a job, take a break, or something along those lines. And I basically got to that stage when I had my big breakthrough. Harry got to that stage before he got to, his breakthrough. Pretty much everybody that lost or got very close to, not having a lot of money before, they were like, okay, bro, I need to fucking lock in because I genuinely can't buy another like account if I blow this one. You know what I mean? Like I can't. So I have to make this one work. Either way, we're gonna continue on to the next question. It's gonna be a little bit, about your, I guess, feelings right now. We've talked about, how you're trading, how it's changed, how it's been going. But now I want to ask you, after taking, these two payouts, in fact, how are you feeling? Because a lot of people get into this trap, where they, you know, I will say, like, you can't get way too happy because you will crash down eventually and be like, oh shit, you know what I mean? If you let it get to you, if you let the ego get to you, you know what I mean? So how are you feeling? How do you think it's gonna go for you? How are you coming into this week? What's your mindset kind of looking?
So first off, because the payouts for me, I'm not gonna get into why the payouts are a pain for me to get, but they're a pain for
Yeah,
me to process. And that shit was so stressful, bro. That at the end of the day, I was down to my final £4,
yeah,
and it's just a relief. To be honest, like, I can't go crash out with this shit. I can't really do anything with this shit, and it was just a relief to actually be. Now I know I can scale with this money.
yeah,
Thing with the ego, there isn't any ego, because like I'm obviously, you could call it ego coming and sitting on here and talking about it, but it is something now where I can help people because I've got my first one. I got it properly. I got it legitimately. But now the whole weekend I've been helping people out, and now I'm doing this, and I made a video on my own channel about it. It's like, bro, it is making me feel a little bit like, damn, I have to perform in July, bro. I want to be better in July. I want
yeah,
to scale up, and I want to get, hopefully it's like 4x the payout, not 4x like the trading, like 4 times the
yeah,
payout I got last month going into the next month. And yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say there's much happiness. Like, I remember thinking, bro, I mean, my ultimate goal, like I set for myself monetary wise, and it's on my wall. I stuck it up there 10 months ago. It says I will get a 5-figure payout. Um, so that was always my ultimate goal. But I always thought, bro, the first payout would be like
yeah,
absolute bliss once I got it, but it didn't feel like my day.
yeah,
I felt good for an hour, but after an hour, you know, I got the payout right before I went gym. I was kind of happy on the way to the gym, and then I came out of the gym and it was like, oh, regular day, So guys, your first payout is not going to be life changing, or at least it hasn't been for me.
yeah,
So don't put it on a pedestal. Do not
yeah,
put the first payout on a. That's that to conclude what I'm trying to say. Don't put the first payout on a pedestal because that shit. It's not like that. It's not like that.
yeah. I always say it's like any other goal you might be chasing in life. Once you kind of achieve it, it's like, ah, bro, it's pointless now. Like you got it. Like okay, what's kind of next?
Yeah, exactly, bro.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Either way, closing it out. We're not gonna go way too far in the future, and don't think of this like actual goals you have to set for yourself, but within the next 3 months, what
Oh,
do
free
you
money.
hope? What do you hope of your trading? What do you think or hope you've achieved
Um, a 10K a month.
in the next
I
three
do
months? I
think possible in the next 3 months for me to hit 10K a month.
Yeah,
Um, I even think it's possible by August. But if we want to talk about next 3 months, I want a 10K a month. I think I can do a 10K a month.
yeah,
If
you
we want to
absolutely
talk a
can.
bit more out of trading, I want to have hopefully 2,500 subscribers, and I want to be, helping other people. I want to be helping other people trade as well. So hopefully we can make all that happen.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that. That's perfect.